Hi, my name is Zach Kramer. I started my MSP back in 2008, started doing EOS implementations for MSPs in 2019, and I have been a nerd my entire life. My dad was an IT person. It goes deep genetically. We're going to talk today about 10 powerful tools that'll skyrocket your MSP business. What I want to be clear about with this is these are actual useful, practical tools that you can use. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about some things that we are actually using. I'm either using them or my clients are using them in my MSP or IMSPs that I work with right now today. So the first thing I'm going to do is scare you, because you always want to sell with fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? So you're already falling behind. This is here, it is now. I do a lot of presentations outside of the MSP space, and I did one in Seattle for about 150 business owners 2 weeks ago. And this was for business owners of all types of business. And I said, how many of you are using AI in your business every single day? 90% of the hands went up. 90% of the hands went up on using AI in their business every single day. If your clients are ahead of you and you're in the IT space, that is a bad place to be. The second thing is AI is a great way to grow. I am now servicing clients with half as many labor hours as I was in 2008. I went back and did some math on it, right? Over the course of 20 years, we've gotten a lot more efficient. AI tools are going to help us keep going there. And then obviously it's a competitive edge. Anything that you're doing that nobody else is doing is a great place to be. It's something that your customers are interested in. And by the way, I'm going to your customers and telling them, hey, does your MSP do this? No, we do. Come over here. Next thing, AI is just a tool. So I came up with a giant list of things that have now been rebranded as AI, right? So there's, autocomplete is now AI-powered search. Predictive text is now AI. Collaborative filtering, statistical analysis, regression. All of these are just words that have now been rebranded as AI. And so I made this point before, I'll make it again, which is these are just tools, guys. These are just useful ways to do more work. So AI is just a tool. If you're afraid of it or you're not sure what to do with it, do you know what to do with Excel? Cool. You know how to use AI. All right, let's get into it. That's a rhinoceros that's drumming on a drum. Love that picture. First one, 10 quick hits. Gamma.ai, sales presentations that sell themselves. What I love about Gamma is you can put your information into it and it will build the beautiful presentation for you. Let me show you an example. This is what all of my sales proposals have looked like for 15 years, right? Look, there's colors, there's a logo, it's got a font on it. We're all very proud, okay? Now, I take this exact same sales proposal today, and I drop it into Gamma, and it gives me this. This takes 10 seconds. It's the exact same proposal dropped into Gamma. It creates a website for it. I send the web link to my client. The clients are like, wow, this is so impressive and official and like so much better, and just boom, there you go. It also does PowerPoint presentations, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. Next tool, AI PRM is awesome. It's something you use to supercharge your Claude and ChatGPT experience. AI PRM adds these critical fields. Tone and writing style get added into Chat and to Claude. And here's what that lets us do. When I'm going in there to have it write me a standard email, such as write me an email to remind this customer we're discontinuing their service if they don't pay their bill by Friday. Dear valued customer, we understand that everyone faces financial challenges from time to time, and we're reaching out because we've noticed you have an outstanding balance. We'd love to keep your service running without interruption, but we need your help, right? Exact same prompt, different set, okay? Now I want it to be pessimistic and critical. Let's be realistic. Your service will almost certainly be disconnected after March 21st. Our experience suggests customers who reach this page never pay their bill on time, right? I don't have to rewrite the prompt. It's the same prompt. I can just tell it what tone I want it to be in. It makes the writing projects that I do a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier. So that's our next quick hit. So Crisp.ai is like Zoom on steroids for voice enhancement. What Crisp does for you is it does awesome background noise cancellation. I have used Crisp in the middle of a Delta Sky Club in Utah, which, if you've ever been to the Delta Sky Club in Salt Lake City, is a madhouse. And I asked the person I was talking to, I said, can you hear anything? They said, not a word, not a sound, nothing, right? So it's amazing noise canceling technology. It also does voice enhancement, right? Every once in a while, I'm using like my laptop microphone and I sound like a potato, and it enhances my voice, makes me sound better, okay? And it works with Zoom and all of Teams and all of the conferencing platforms. Now, I had to submit this slideshow about 3 weeks ago, and AI moves fast. So there's something that's not on this slide that will be on this slide the next time that I present on it, which is Crisp has released this amazing new beta product. It's real-time accent removal. Real-time accent removal. It's designed for teams that are in India or in South America or in places where they have heavy accents. And what it does is it creates a live voice print of that person, and then it tries to remove their accent live during the conversation. It's in beta right now. Don't try to start using it. It's good, but it's not good enough. But the point is with AI, give it 6 months and it will be good enough. And in 6 months, you'll be talking to somebody from India and they'll sound like they're from Hoboken and you won't know the difference. Dial pad, what you'll see there in the middle on the left-hand side image is it says positive and negative. And so if you're the help desk manager and you're watching the call board, it's giving a sentiment analysis of the calls that are in progress so you can see if there's a problem coming up, right? You can also do reporting on that. It's not just the live view. You can also report out on positive and negative calls. Your client account managers would love to know if a majority of the calls coming from a certain client are negative or positive before they go into those QBRs, right? So over on the right-hand side, another thing Dialpad is doing now, real-time coaching. Real-time coaching. So it's listening to the call and it's telling the agent what it thinks. So you'll see right there, it says, you're talking fast, slow down, right? It'll say, I don't think they understand you. Ask that question again. It does real-time coaching of the person on the phone because as we all know, when we're dealing with IT people, they speak slowly, clearly, and concisely in a way that the customer understands flawlessly every time, right? Next up, Microsoft Copilot. So this is what I love about Copilot is that if you have a lot of data in SharePoint, which we do, it will, when it's writing scripts, when it's doing PowerShell, when it's doing searches, it will use your SharePoint data to write the script. So if I say, hey, I want to, write a script to map this drive onto, the new computers, it knows what the drive is and it can pull that directly into the script and save us a lot of time. And what you'll see on the left is I've got two of these that are out of Copilot, right? How do I list all my resource groups and can you write this big complicated thing? And then over here, I've got one that's out of Claude. And the point that I want to make about this is for those of us who are using the tools to do scripting, right? If you're using Chat, if you're using Claude, if you're using whatever, they are good about 80% of the time, right? And about 20% of the time, you get nonsense garbage that doesn't run or doesn't do what you want to do. And what I find too often is that people spend a lot of time trying to troubleshoot why the nonsense garbage isn't working. And usually the best answer is just switch to a different model, right? If Gemini is giving you nonsense garbage, don't ask Gemini why it's giving you nonsense garbage. It doesn't know. And it'll make up an answer that's usually wrong. I just take the exact same query, I go over to Claude and I say, just kidding, you do it. And oftentimes that's how I get the right answer. So, all right, late node, flexible AI enhanced automation. So late node, Make, Zapier, these are all of a new type of thing, which is natural language programming. So you can type in, you can write the thing you want to have happen and it will put the nodes together for you. You can say, every Friday at 3 p.m., check my PSA, tell me if any of my technicians have recorded fewer than 30 hours of time, right? And then send them a Slack message, send me an email, and then update a spreadsheet and let me know who it is. It'll ask you questions. Okay, what time do you want that report to go out? And then what it'll do is it does what they call self-improving workflows, which is as it runs over time, it'll actually make suggestions for how it could run better. But this is the next generation of connecting applications together, generating reports, automating data processing. U.com is every AI model in one chat box. Every AI model in one chat box. They have brought together all of the open AI models, all of the Anthropic models, and a bunch of random ass models you have never heard of, right? As I say, okay, cool, Gemini, what do you got for me? All right, that looks all right. Claude, what do you got for me? And I'm just cycling through in the same web browser. I'm not having to go to different browsers to get the information over and over again. It's also an amazing way to test the new models. See how it works, see what it does for you. When DeepSeek came out, right? So DeepSeek was the stealth mode AI that came out of China, fits on your cell phone, super tiny. My favorite thing about the DeepSeek controversy is that ChatGPT accused them of stealing their information to build DeepSeek, like of stealing their research results, which if you know how ChatGPT was built is hilarious because ChatGPT is entirely built out of stolen research results. Next up, Grammarly Business. So here's some examples of some cool stuff that Grammarly Business AI does. The first one is you can now make a custom style guide for your company, right? My company is IT Assurance, capital I, capital T. It is not IT Assurance. Not everybody knows that, right? And so you can make a custom style guide where if somebody puts in the wrong spelling, the wrong way of framing something, the wrong way of putting in your company's name, here's what I want it to look like. Another thing that it does is it now coaches on messages. So the same way that Dialpad is coaching people live on calls, Grammarly is now coaching on messages. This is a good example over here where it says, do we have your approval to move forward with our recommendation? But there's no time. And so Grammarly is popping up here to say, hey, you probably want to give them a deadline, right? You don't just want to ask for an approval. You want to ask them when. And then this is my favorite thing that it does down here at the bottom is tone detection. If you don't have a unique tone, a unique voice, a reason why your company is different and special and better than all of the other special fish, right? Then you're going to get lost. Critical for those of us who are working with virtual offshore employees, right? Be able to say, no, that's not how we write here. That's not how we sound here. When you're doing that, it needs to sound and look different. So next up, Claude. I love using Claude to practice difficult conversations. This is something that I will do with Claude is, we've all gotten that email. The customer says, we need to talk about the budget. You're just like, I don't want to talk about the budget. And so what I will do is I will feed Claude my history of communication with someone. I'll take the 30 or 40 or 100 emails that we've exchanged before, and I will copy and paste them directly into Claude. And I'll say, you be this person. I need you to be Paul now, right? And I'll talk to it. But there have now been multiple instances where the real human has said almost identical things to what the Claude agent did. And I was just like, I am so ready for this. And it was also creepy as shit. Because you're like, how did you do that? How did you know how they were going to object? But the thing is, people have personalities, and personalities respond to things in the same sort of ways, right? So using Claude to practice sales conversations. We also use this to have technicians, new technicians, practice how they're going to talk to customers. So this is a little bit more advanced, but we have projects that are customers that are set up that already have some things in them. So that the technician, when they talk to them, the customer is going to respond according to the problem that they're having. It's just a way for them to do role play. Scribe. So Scribe is another one of these tools of which there are now 1 million, but Scribe is one that I'm personally using and have found a great deal of success with. Scribe solves one of the biggest problems in all of IT, which is the amount of time you have to spend making a screenshot and then clicking the thing to put a number 1 on it and then a number 2 and then drawing a red arrow and then saying click here first and click here second, right? No, just me? Okay, those are my Saturday nights. Scribe automates the process of creating the documentation. So you take a Zoom video of yourself doing the thing, right? And you talk to the Zoom and you say, then click here, then you click here, then you click here, then you go over here, then it goes to the next screen. And then you take that video and you just drop it into Scribe. And Scribe builds the step-by-step, page-by-page directions for you. Okay, bonus. The best use of AI tools is not any one tool. It is all of the tools together, which is also a reference to an episode of Community for anybody who saw that one. Okay, cool. The real power of AI is not any individual tool. It's using them all together. And let me tell you what I mean. This presentation that you're looking at was made in Gamma.ai. All of these cute animal images were part of the template that I created for this because I thought, hey, it'd be adorable? Cute animals, right? Claude is where I wrote the text seed that generated the presentation. I said, I'm giving a presentation to 100 MSPs, 100 MSP owners. It's about AI, yada, yada. Claude helped me generate the seed for the presentation. I used the tools on you.com to research exactly which tools I wanted to recommend, right? Which ones are going to be the most relevant, which ones are the most used in the MSP space, right? Filter this list. I gave it a list of probably 50 things. Filter this down for me, give me a top 10 recommendation. Grammarly is what helped me make sure that the tone was right. Grammarly is actually responsible for the animals. So Grammarly helped make sure that the tone of all the text in the presentation was correct. And then I fed that all into Gamma. This whole thing took me like 2 hours. That was it, right? This kind of a presentation 5 years ago probably would have taken me 10 or 20 hours. And I would have been up late at night last night on my laptop, making sure that like the front layer wasn't on top of the back layer and that the thing was, this guy, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That the thing was zooming in the way that it was supposed to zoom in. This is magic to me that it can just be created, right? In just a couple of hours. You can use these tools to do useful things inside of your business. So, okay, they added a slide. You can download this deck if you want these cute animal pictures all for yourself, or to see the names of these AI tools. And I've got about 5 minutes left because I talk fast. So if people have questions, there could be questions, or else.
What do you do for your employees, like for a policy? Are you just saying, it's wild, wild west, just upload all the data and go crazy, or are we, reeling that back a little bit, just saying only use the company's data for certain things? I'm not sure what you do.
Yeah. So the CISA guy, I'm sure we'll talk about this. Same thing we advise our customers, right? Which is never put any sensitive data into any AI tool, right? Never put anybody's name, address, phone number, anything along those lines into an AI tool. That's our policy internally. We've also given a template to all of our customers, like just as a value add, like, hey, you guys need an AI policy. Here's why you need an AI policy. Because if you have people in your company who are taking your customer's database and then trying to run it through ChatGPT to organize it or something, you just gave all that data out to the universe. And there have already been several hilarious stories of people going into ChatGPT and sucking people's data out of it in nefarious ways.
Hey, Zach, I always worry about authenticity with AI. Like, I still want my clients, my employees to know that it's actually my voice and who I am, and not just some computer coming up with that. How do we take all these tools but still have our real self come through in it?
So a lot of it is actually setting up the tools correctly to sound like you. So I'm an EOS implementer. I answer the same question over and over again, which is, how do we run our 555s, or what do I do about the metrics issue? So I have inside of Claude a project created where I've uploaded a lot of my own writing, so it knows what I sound like. And then when I say, hey, write me up a quickie on, the scorecard as it relates to the 555s, it knows who I am. It knows what I sound like. And it comes up with something that's about 97% me. Now, I'm still going to edit it. I take the final product and, change a word or two to make it be exactly like me. But the simple truth is that it's really good at sounding like us if we have fed it enough information to tell us what we sound like. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was the time.
Thanks very much.
Sorry,
That was awesome.